Yes, hi Dan, I can hear you now.
Okay, all right. You may or may not have heard Ann Mendoza saying that on the county website, the password is there, but it's at the very end of a long string of phone numbers. But in any event, we have you now.
Thank you, Dan. Yeah.
And oh, there you are. You're on twice. You're on with your, can you see the screen now, Anastasia?
Oh, all right. I will get off the phone.
Well, no, it's entirely up to you. I'm just saying we see you there twice. There you go. Okay.
Okay.
Anastasia, do you know if anyone else in the community is trying to reach this meeting? I just want to make sure that they have the proper information to get inside and be able to view this.
And I don't. I did contact one person. I know he's not attending, but I don't know of any other interest.
Mhm.
Okay, well, as a reminder, this meeting is going to be recorded. It will be posted on the county website within the next 2 days. Our engineering firm is required to have it in next day, but hopefully it'll be posted up and be available to view. And then there's a 14-week period, sorry, not 14-week, 14-day period where the community can come in and put in their own comments. So if they're unable to attend this meeting, they have time to talk to us
Okay.
about this project.
So Ann Mendoza, I know I promised you I would be quiet and say nothing, but since Anastasia is on and we can talk, Anastasia, I went to the county website just for your information whenever you want to try and
Thank you.
attend one of these Zoom community meetings. The password is there. You just have to, if you were looking at it now that you know what it is, you'd find it. It's at the end of the string of telephone numbers in the meeting location and virtual meeting link.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Dan. A
Yeah.
little unfortunate place to put it, but thank you for pointing that out. I'll remember that.
Well, I agree. I agree with you. I don't, it's not unfortunate. They squeeze it in. If you were to look at the letter is just paginated different, but when they put it in the website, it all squeezes in to like a long string of numbers, but then it says password at the end. Anyway,
Okay.
there
Thank
it
you.
is. That may help you in the future. Okay.
Yeah. If people are still having trouble with the password, maybe I'll give it like maybe another 3 more minutes or so, just in case. I don't want to take up too much of anyone's time, but I want to make sure that anyone who wants to be participating in this meeting can.
So I believe, Anne, that Anastasia was dialing in from the website to the meeting ID, and then she just didn't have the password. So we could see that you were there, Anastasia. That's why I called you. So if
Yeah,
anyone else is trying to get in, could you hear us when we were talking, Anastasia?
I could not. No, I don't think.
Okay, all right. I saw that someone was dialing in. I saw the cell phone number, so I called. So anyone else who's
I actually dialed in from a telephone number because I wasn't. I tried several times
yeah,
to get in on the through the internet
yep.
on the Zoom, but that
Okay.
wasn't working. I just kept not getting anywhere.
Okay. Well, we saw you. So did you dial one of the phone numbers there, like
Then
three?
I dialed a phone number, yeah. But
Yeah.
then eventually the Zoom meeting came up on my computers
Okay. All right. Good.
after many tries.
Okay. Well, we'll wait a couple more minutes then.
Dan, what happened? I understood that the variance was denied. Can you give me, while we're, what,
Sure. Sure. Mr. Holman at the Administrative Hearing Office denied the variance, but we appealed it to the Board of Appeals, and the Board of Appeals granted the variance. And we're still awaiting the opinion, but the opinion is being rented. The opinion is being written for an approval. They approved the variance. They just have to finish writing the opinion.
okay.
If you participate in the variance hearing, you might see some changes that's happening in the grading permit plan itself versus what was shown at the original variance. So there has been some changes in order to work with county to get the variance granted. But that will be explained a little bit more during the during the meeting itself, as it's one of the things that has that would affect the modification at that
Yeah.
point. So
Oh, and Anastasia, the Board of Appeals conditioned their approval on removal of the covered porch roof over the deck.
But the deck remains.
Correct.
Dan, my plans does not show the deck or the patio.
Oh, okay, good.
So that is no longer going to be a part of this current grading plan.
Okay.
So the deck and the patio are no longer there either, Anne?
They are no longer there. Once I present why don't we just start now?
May as
Start
well.
the meeting now. I'm gonna have to go through the preliminary actionable items for the committee meeting. As for those who haven't participated in community meetings before, there's a whole slew of items that has to be spoken within the meeting itself that identifies this project, that identifies this project, what the site's all about, why we're doing this project, and one of the main purposes for this meeting itself is to introduce the modification to disturb within the expanded buffer. So let me start off. My name is Ann Mendoza. I am a project engineer here at Ronald W. Johnson's. I will be conducting this meeting. I will be presenting those actionable items one by one. I will show the site plan and I will open the floor open to any questions the community may have. So as a reminder, this meeting is recorded. If you're just joining now, please include your name and your contact information in the chat. If anyone else ends up appearing during this video call, I will repeat that statement again in order to make sure that their attendance is recorded. So the project name is Annapolis Roads, lot 11 and 13. The zoning of the property is R2. The water and sewer type, the site will be served by a private well. It will also be served by a public sewer, but it is a low pressure sewer system going on, so will require a grinder pump. Our office has designed a utility plan, is working with the engineering department of the engineering division with Anne Arundel County per their review for that grinder pump to be approved. The impacted schools, we have elementary school, Georgetown East, which is open. Middle school is Annapolis Middle School, which is also open. And the high school is Annapolis High School, and that school is closed. Usually for stating when schools are open is more relevant for subdivisions. This is not only a residential, one single lot residential, but I mentioned before that this is Annapolis Roads lot 11 and 13. This property will have a lot merger agreement. So on that note, there are no new proposed lots happening. It will focus on one single lot. The type of site this is residential. The road that it abuts is Carrollton Road. It's a 50-foot county right-of-way. There are a couple of environmental features on site, including the site being waterfront and steep slopes being encountered on the northern, I'm pretty sure it's the northern side of the property, between the north and the northwest side of the property itself. Let's see. As I mentioned earlier in this meeting, we will perform a modification to make some development within the expanded buffer. So the environmental features that will be impacted by that project would be that. The site is within critical area. It's within an RCA designation. We have designed 2 stormwater management devices to help control the impervious impact on site. And the modification, as I mentioned before, is to allow us to disturb within the expanded buffer. So I will present the site plan right now with share screen. Can everyone see my screen right now?
Yes,
So this is currently the proposed plan. Those who are familiar with the variance that also was applied previously or those who are familiar with the variance that was applied for earlier this year, you may see certain changes happening on the site. For instance, originally there was a deck and patio that was being proposed to be built here that is no longer going to be part of this particular grading permit. We have the two stormwater management devices. They are a micro bioretention device here located closer to the water, and a rain garden that's going to be on the outskirts of the driveway itself. The entryway is going to be from Carrollton Road. There will be a grinder pump located on this side over here. And you can see that the site is pretty much has been encumbered by the expanded buffer. There is no way to have this type of development without disturbing it. We have gone through the variance process to ask permission to be allowed to make this development happen, and the modification is just another step within the process in order to be granted permission for this construction. Currently, are there any questions about our property and this project itself that anyone would like to ask?
where is the driveway? Can you point that out? I can't discern. It says,
Yeah, so right now
Hmm.
there's a stabilized construction entrance that's required by soil
Hmm.
conservation districts to be included on all the sites. When you're going south on Carrollton Road, it's going to be right here where my mouse is. I will annotate it for you right now.
see it, but, and the drive, so is that, what is that structure? Inside your circle, but at the bottom, a rectangular structure with radius corners?
This is a temporary stockpile area just for any excess spoils from the cut that's going to be required for the construction of the house. This temporary stockpile area is required by Soil Conservation District. It will be removed. It should be how to explain this. With the construction of the property itself, it's required to be stabilized at the end of each construction day. And by the time that the property has been fully developed, that structure, that stockpile area would be gone.
And show me again, I see the curb cut and maybe, I don't know, 20 feet of the driveway, but does it stop there or what? Does it continue to the house?
So the driveway itself, let me try to get a little bit more folder here. Let me just clear this. So the driveway itself runs along this way here. There's going to be a little bit K-turn, so that way the cars can actually come out of their property.
Thank you, yeah.
And this should be a little bit more clear for that. There's just a lot of action going on just because it is just such a condensed space.
Right.
And we're trying to make sure that we're incorporating all the sediment erosion controls that are required by us and to construct this home. And then you can see that Carrollton Road runs along this way down here to the south. It's a little bit angled from it's a little bit angled solely because of the rotation of the plans, but that's Carrollton Road going through, and this is the entryway.
Thank you.
Do you have any other questions for me?
Well, yeah, but you'll probably cover them, so I'll just hold off until you know.
No, feel free. I've gone through all the actionable items right now, so.
So, you haven't marked your trees that are to be removed?
There's a
not?
clearing area right here. Where we be clear. Oh, Yeah, so I did mention this onto our letter. This site it is mostly forested. This is the area of the trees that's going to be cleared. We're doing our best to avoid the, oh, missed one part. Come on. Oh, that's what you do. This should be the forested area that's going to be impacted by the construction of the of the property. We're trying our best to avoid anything that interacts with the steep slopes itself and the 100-foot buffer.
But are you on the north side of the property where there's a lot of parallel lines? It seems like you're on the steep slope, right? Is that correct?
Hold on. We're trying to avoid that as much as we can.
Hmm.
As far as what we have right now, we're not interacting with the steep slopes. What we're in right now is what's called expanded buffer. For environmental purposes, the expanded buffer goes off 50 feet from the top of the steep slopes. This hatched area here represents the 15% steep slopes, which cannot be impacted without a modification. But being within the expanded buffer also requires us, if we're going to be disturbing within that area, also requires us to do a modification. So right now we're just in the expanded buffer. We're not touching the steep slopes.
So just for I understand, let's say on the side of the house where I guess it's the garage is, the small rectangle in there. That side of the house appears to be on steep slopes. Yes, indeed, they're right there. As
The
I
side is
read,
on steep slopes.
say again.
You're saying that the garage is on steep slopes.
Well, the house itself, or the whole that whole edge of the house, that northern edge of the house appears to that. Yeah, thank you.
This whole edge of the house is bordering the expanded buffer. Everything outside of the expanded buffer on this, everything on this side of the red line, this is outside the expanded buffer. With this property, this site is encumbered by buffers and environmental features. There's no way to construct this house without disturbing the expand buffer. What we're trying to prevent here is any disturbances within any of the other environmentally sensitive areas, like the 100-foot buffer indicated by hold on.
See, yeah, over to the far right.
Indicated by this line right here, to
Mhm.
the steep slopes, which is hatched on this side here.
But
That's
I mean,
what we're trying to avoid with the construction of this house.
thank you. And it's just the one thing that's I'm pointing to is the topography seems to indicate that there, and you probably can explain it to me, but there appear to be steep slopes on that northern side of the house, the part that you have outlined of the house in green. And you say that's outside the expanded buffer, but it's not steep slopes. But the topographical lines seem to indicate it's steep slopes. So
it is inside the expanded buffer. It is outside of the steep slopes.
well, then why are those topographical lines indicating fairly steep slopes? They go from 26 to 21, short distance.
26 and 21.
Right, you're the bottom, the rectangle of the house that you've outlined in green, the right side is at about 25. The right side of that, maybe where, the right side of the house where it says,
I'm sorry,
yeah.
when you're saying I'm indicating the garage, are you talking about what the red I'm marking up right now?
No.
Okay, because you kept on saying garage, and that's where the garage is. So I'm misunderstanding where you're indicating. Are you talking about hold on.
The right side, the north side.
Are you talking about this side of the house where the actual house is?
Yes, but just the bottom. the
This side
bottom
right
of the
here.
brick. Yes, indeed. Those look to me like steep slopes. So I'm wondering why they're not characterized.
We are grading that area. This is not steep slopes that's being that was previously existing before. We're just grading this area so that way the drive both the driveway and the house can actually drain off, so that way the runoff can actually be put into this stormwater management device right here. So that's us grading that area in order to make sure that we can control where the runoff is going to be going to and filtering it into the stormwater management device.
Okay, so this does not show the exist topography. This is after you've graded it then.
Correct. The intent is to make sure that all the impervious runoff that's going to be coming from this side of the property
Mm.
is going to be going into the stormwater management device.
Right, it's a bioretention.
Correct. I have another view for that in
Mike-
our drawings for our grading permit.
Okay, thank you very much, Ann.
It's a little bit faint. But ideally, this is how the drainage area for the bioretention is gonna be for that device here. It's gonna be collecting the area that's gonna be coming off from this area here and going into the device located on this section right here.
Thank you.
So this is usually achieved by either grading or even piping the gutters from the rooftops to point into the direction of the bioretention device.
The entire rooftop?
Well, the rooftops would have gutters, and all we have to do is just point those spouts towards the direction of the stormwater management device.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay. Do you have any other questions for me?
Not now. No, thank you, Ann.
Okay. Are the floor is still open up to any other questions if anyone has them right now?
Well, what about trees? Can you're not talking about that in this modification, but I guess I could catch up on that with the other drawings, but I'm just wondering if you have information on trees.
As far as we know, there aren't any specimen trees that we were able to locate within most of this area. We've done a survey within like a good chunk of this area within Carrollton Road, and we didn't find any specimen trees that's relevant within this site of 11 and 13.
Okay, and can you tell me what percent of the property is being graded?
I mean, that's a little bit hard to tell. I mean, just visually itself. Let me just zoom out a little bit. This is the property itself. I would like to say that about like 3/5 of the property is being impacted. I have total site area is about let's round up to like 37,000 square feet. The LOD itself is about 3/5 of that. So actually, I have the actual number here. Hold on one second. So actual LOD. Huh. I guess I only have the total site area listed on here. I'm gonna have to pull up, come on, 1 second. I'm gonna have to make a note for myself. That's gonna have to apply for later.
We had the total.
Usually, we have the limit of disturbance listed onto our site calculate. Oh, here, it's 20. It's the LOD is 0.26 acres out of the 85. So 2.6 by 85. So it's about like it's about what it's about 30% of the property is within that is within that limit of disturbance.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, I'm throwing a lot of numbers at you right now, but I think yeah, I'm sorry. I guess I'm losing track of what specifically what question are you asking for?
You were saying that, so it sounds like the total area to be graded is 0.26 acres, a quarter of an acre.
Well, it's the limit of disturbance. The site itself is a, like 8/10 of an acre. So we kind of have to yeah, even if it's like a quarter of an acre of limit of disturbance, the site itself is still relatively small in that sense.
Another question, is there going to be any development on Lake Heron? A walkway down to the lake or a pier or dock?
We do not have any design that has a pier or walk or access to Lake Heron with this grading permit. As far as I understand it, there's no intention to make that pathway or not, but that would not be included in our grading permit.
Okay. And has the dimension of the house remained the same? It's a basement and 2 stories?
Everything that I show on this grading permit is our current design right here. Oh, sorry. I realized that I stopped sharing the screen. My apologies.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is also listed in the letter that was sent over to all the communities. And I've mentioned before, if you were not part of that initial invitation list, I would love to get your contact information so I can send you the meeting minutes, as well as the site plan presented during this grading permit. I mean, during this meeting, and that will be sent over to the community so they understand. But the initial site plan that was sent over with the community meeting package, this information should already be included in that. So you have the elevations of the first floor, basement, and garage.
I'd appreciate receiving that. They only send it to people within 300 feet. So, you know, I'm past that.
Yeah, that's correct. But once again, if you can just provide your contact information, you'll be receiving this information in the mail as well when we send over the meeting minutes.
How do you want me to provide that?
I requested that everyone include their contact information in the Zoom chat, because the Zoom chat also gets recorded and sent over to the county, as well as my many spelling mistakes.
I mean, how do I? Oh, when I signed up for the Zoom chat, I provided my address and all that jazz.
Correct.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes. When you open up your Zoom meeting, if you don't see it on the right-hand side, at the bottom, there's a button for chat. So you can include, once you click that button, you can see all the information that has been just text, all the text that's been going on throughout this community meeting. And then you can put your contact information there, so your information can be sent.
So you want me to do that now? I can.
Yeah, you can do that right now. You can wait until the meeting is over, or you also have my email address and my phone number. Well, if you didn't get the letter, I guess I will also include those two information as well. So if you want to just contact me directly.
Sure. What's your email address?
I am posting that into chat right now. This information is also included within the county website for the schedule of the meeting.
I didn't find that, but if you put it in the chat, I guess you're putting it in the chat.
I have
There
submitted
you
my
are. I
contact
see it now.
information.
I got it, Ann. Thank you.
Anastasia, do you have any more questions for me?
Um, Not at the moment, thank you.
Okay. Well, as I mentioned before, this video will be posted on the county website for anyone to review. If any more questions pop up, you can easily email me at my email address provided on both this call and the county website. And feel free to call or email. And that information will also be included in the meeting minutes once the review is complete.
Okay,
Okay. If there are no other questions, I will start closing out this meeting. It is 6:40 right now. And once again, if you have any more questions, please feel free to contact me. Just as a reference, my name is Ann Mendoza. My contact number is 410-841-5221. And you can email me at Ann, which is my first name, M as in Mendoza, at RWJAI if you have any more questions. All right. I thank you all for attending this meeting.
thank you. Thank you very much.
Of course.
Thank you, Ann Mendoza. Thank you, Anastasia Hopkinson. Good talking to you.
Yeah, good talking to you, Dan.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye, Dan.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.